Well, hello everybody, and welcome back once again to another episode of Why Did I Start Making This? This was insane. Hopefully you're having fun with me. If not, I'm sorry it's been so hard. And if you are having fun, I'm glad you're learning so much, alright? So today we're going to do a couple things. First off, just wanted to let you know I changed this green in the background. I just went into edit down to the color part, and I just changed it to a bit darker of a green because it's really hurting my eyes. If you're having the same thing, you might want to do the same. I think this is more the actual green of a motherboard anyways, so again, up to you, but just thought I'd mention it if you're noticing there's some sort of difference. Probably make the fan for on top of the CPU today. We have everything else mounted to it, so we just need to make the fan screw to this somehow, okay, and then we'll go ahead and move to the GPU and start setting that up, and we're going to have to figure out what's going to be the back side of our motherboard. Probably this side, because due to our setup over there. You can do yours wherever. You can move these around. I'm going to try to show you how you can make like interchangeable motherboards afterwards by just shuffling things around a little bit. But first we just need to get a complete working model. And that's the biggest thing we have to get completed, basically. Alright? So, there's a couple ways we could do this. I'll just start with the basics. Let's make a cube. And again, if you are joining us, you've been through heck and back again trying to make this and figure this out. Just give yourself a little kudos. This has not been easy. You know, I've been making stuff quite some time, and it's this is one of the harder builds. Probably not my hardest build, obviously, but it's been quite challenging. So if you're new and you've followed me and you've done this all, you should be proud of yourself at this point anyways. Just wanted to say that. Alright, just going to grab edges here. Grab all four, okay. Just going to mimic the shape, so we're only going to grab those four because it should just give us like a beveled edge type look. Try to have to guess at there. Oh, we're going to have to fix our bevels. 1, 2, 3, 4. I usually do 4. Chances are that's 4. It might be a little more, but let's just go with it, and then we'll get our best match that we can. It looks like it's about that. You're going to have to try to match it as best as you can, like I said. It's okay if you're just a little bit off, because we're actually going to try to be a little bit bigger for a goal, because we're making a fan case, basically, and the case has to be slightly bigger than this, I'd say. Not much, but just slightly. So move it in, see what you have, basically. If it looks right, if it doesn't look right, move it around a little bit, okay? Become more easy to tell if it's in place when we move a couple steps ahead of there. So you can see it just kind of overlaps a little bit on each edge, so I'm just trying to roughly get that lined up for it's mostly in place, okay? Looks like it's a good spot, looks like it's going to work, so let's back it up. Alright, first things first, I have to make a cube now. Alright, I did the wrong one, I'm sorry. Just go back if you followed me there. I'm so used to making squares, I don't know how to make a cube, it looks like, huh? Just kidding. Alright, so hit that on a 90, and we'll shrink it down. Okay, not too small, but small. And we're gonna move this into our shape. And we're gonna try to center it. And then we're gonna make it bigger to make sure we have it centered, because we're gonna punch this hole out of the shape, so we're gonna have to make sure it is really well centered, okay? You can eyeball it if you trust your eyes that much. I do not. I need glasses sometimes, so. And I don't usually wear them for this stuff, so I'm not going to trust myself for it. Grab a circle. I'm just going to make it a little bigger and give you guys an example of how you could do this just to absolutely make sure you're on the right size, right? So I'm just, maybe we'll switch to this one briefly just to be able to see the edges a little bit better, okay? Looks even to me, except the top and the bottom. But the closer you get to the actual size, so you can see if it's touching on either side, then you can tell when there's a difference, like it's too high there, obviously. So just being closer to the actual size, right? I'm going to say that's good enough for the demonstration. I don't want to make you guys wait too long. Okay. Shrink it back down to a decent size that you're going to want to make the fan. So maybe about there. Okay. I'm going to switch back to our colored one. We'll start coloring stuff too. Just kind of help us feel why, or make this feel a little better. But maybe I'll just keep going. So I'm just going to take this out of that. And you can leave it in whatever view you like. If you like the other one better, you go ahead and leave it there. But I just personally, I like the color. It helps me envision. Let's go back one, actually. Let's copy that before we do that. Shift D. Oops. I'm going to grab that and just delete, because we only needed one of those. Okay. Alright. Shift D. Well, actually... Sorry, I'm just thinking quickly here. No, that's how we need it to be. I'm just making sure that we're doing this right. If you're a little confused why I'm just pausing. With this stuff, you got to think it out quite a bit, and that's what I mean. You're learning how to think on the spot. You're learning how to think ahead and not trap yourself into a corner. And you're going to see me make mistakes back and forth here, but you'll see how I recover also, and how I just keep going and I don't let it faze me. I hope you have the same attitude here. This is the best attitude to have. Okay, so how are we gonna do this one, guys? Let's make it thinner. So, gonna do a few things here, and I'll explain it as we go. Sorry, didn't mean to do that. I keep hitting A, and A highlights everything when I just want to hit S. There we go. Okay. So it should be exactly dead center of there. Okay. Guess we're going to have to make this piece really let's Shift D it first, again, just to save ourselves time trying to line up another one. We know that one's dead center, so make this really thick. Maybe we'll make it thicker and then duplicate it, for it'll be easier to make the other size. Nah, I don't know. This is fine. So, I'm going to bump that in, right? This piece here is going to hold the fan. But we needed to do a few other things. We need it to be mounted from side to side behind the fan, so it holds things together. So if somebody takes apart this in your game, they're going to go, oh, okay, that makes sense, right? That's what you need. Go to faces before we... am I making a mistake here? Just going to make sure I'm not making a mistake. That's not the answer. So I'm going to Shift A, and I'm going to make a square, and let's just make the back part of the brace before we do this, just to make sure we're not messing something up and I'm just not thinking about it. Okay. Maybe we'll pull this out while we're working on it just to make sure it looks right, and it is right on the back. Okay. It doesn't have to be right on the back. It just has to be a thin rail, basically. You could do one up and down, or you could just do a single one side to side. It's up to you. When you think you've got it around centered, that looks good to me. I'm going to S. No, you know what? Let's not S. Let's go this way. I'm going to make a flat rail, basically, okay? I'm going to go flat, 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 flat. I think I went too far. Okay, it's got to be super thin, because we don't want to be in the way of our fan. We just need a mount to hold this, so our fan can spin from that. Now maybe you want a double mount, so you just Shift D, you put this on a 90, okay? Oops, wrong one. 0. If you can write in the right axis, you just put it on a 90 like so, okay? We attach these to each other, Control J. You have your mount for your back, okay? It's just going to sit like that. Doesn't have to be screwed in or anything. We just make it a piece of the plastic. If you want to bury it a little bit, just get out of edit mode, push S just a hair, and once it's like that, you can just kind of move it into the frame a little bit if you need to. But we're going to leave it like that. That does the purpose of what we need it for, okay? Which is, it's going to be to hold this piece, okay? Now it's up to you. You could put a pin behind this if you really want. So maybe we'll do it just for the example. This is getting complicated for a fan, you're probably thinking though. Alright, bump it back, for example, to the right spot. It looks about right. It's a little through, so when we shrink it, it should work. Something like that, right? And if you're not in the middle, move it to the middle at that point. I think I might have been before. Anyways, so you make this probably a little bit longer. Okay. And then when we take this one and we run it down, right? We're going to attach that one to the other one behind it. If they're connected, if you can see. Make sure they're semi-connected, but it's not sticking out the back, okay? Something like that. You can take a little more time to adjust it. I'm rushing for you guys, for you don't have to watch. And then, oh, you know what? Before we do that, we would undo, take just this, duplicate it, okay? Run it in here, as deep as you want, okay? Then we're gonna bool this difference. Now we'll attach this to that. Control J. All right, move this down, and it now has a hole in the back side. And we'll just shrink it a bit to make it fit in a bit more. Gonna have to make sure we move back a little bit, so let's just go a little bit more. Okay. And now it spins on a pin, okay? And then our pin is gonna go to our fan. We haven't made it yet, but then we just need to screw our fan in after, and we are done, okay? But let's, oops, move a little farther here. Looks like it's exactly centered, so I'm just going to go ahead and do this, but I'm going to stop just before the edge of the walls, okay? Give it a certain look, and that's the look we're going to need. Then I'm going to grab this, and I'm going to, let's grab this piece first. And hit Control B there, oops, and just make it like that. It might look a little funny if you try to texture it, but I don't know why you would anyway, so get out of edit mode. Alright, and we'll make this one pretty flat. Okay, because we just need a fan shape. There's a couple ways you could do this. We could just mount pieces to this and shape it the way we want it. Probably be a little harder than what I'm going to do. The way I'm going to do is probably not going to look exactly like a fan, but I think it's going to get the point across to people who are looking at it, and they're going to say, well, yeah, that's a fan. So, I'm going to guess at the size of that. Right? I don't know. There's no way really to know. But I need that cut in it. So I could take this piece and we could Shift E, right? And we're going to probably do something like that. Hopefully this doesn't mess things up on me. We'll see. And then we're going to bool difference. Okay? So now you have exactly the right shape cut out right through the middle of what the piece is behind it, alright? So, oh, I see. That's pretty funny. We left a little chunk because of the hole we put into it. So if we grab this and we just bump it back a little bit like that, it should fix it. That's silly. Difference, okay? Now, alright, there's a thin ring. Oh my god. Should just be able to hit L over that. P, selection. Go out. Click off. Click on. Delete. Okay? Sorry about that. We could not get rid of that no matter what we did. Alright, but it's easy enough to clean up, right? So we're going to take every second one all the way around. This is going to be a hard fan to do, guys. If you could do it a little better, you could, or different, you can do it every 4 if you want to make big fan blades. But I'm going to try it this way. I don't think I've actually ever tried it this way, so I'm going to give it a shot. Kind of curious how it's going to look. Hopefully it looks alright. If it doesn't, you know, that's alright too, but we'll see what happens, guys. We're also going to take out all these top ones that, oops, sorry, that are attached to them, okay? But let's just do this for now. We'll do faces, okay? And you can see it's going to give us a really cool look to the fan. And then we're just going to take out the faces behind them. So every second one, and you can see which ones are missing if you just look close enough. Make sure you get the right ones. Okay? All the way around. And we're going to hit delete faces, okay? Now we have a fan that goes all the way around, or has a hole all the way through in between the fan blades. Now again, if you want to make your fans look a little different, that's completely fine. But we're not done yet. We're just kind of getting the look of a fan, right? We got the fan hole, so it can be attached to that piece at the back there and actually spin in a circle in your game. Now you're probably going to want to attach it to the whole fan mount itself, but we're just going to do this one step at a time so we don't make any mistakes, okay? So we deleted all those faces. We got a perfect circle, okay? There's a few things you could do. You can grab the whole faces all the way around, again, like this now, okay? And we're going to thin them out just to give the fan a little bit of a tapered look, like it tapers out towards the edges. But we could only, I think we could do this together, but we're going to have to try and see what happens, guys. And hopefully I didn't grab any of the wrong edges, because that does happen too. So now that we're in there, we're going to experiment with this, see if it looks good. I think it looks really good. If you agree, keep it, okay? Now, we're going to take this. Oh wait, we're going to go to edges. We're going to take this. Take this, grab this one too if you want, the one below, but I'm just going to, you don't have to, you can just grab those ones. I'm sorry, I hit S instead of F is what we want to hit. Okay? So, then you're going to have to slowly work your way around and do all your edges like that, okay? Maybe I'll leave that out for you guys don't have to painfully watch me go through it, because it's going to be a long time of clicking these, obviously. Make sure you're only clicked on the two and you're not clicked on the ones from before. Hit F. Okay? It's real simple. F. You get in a rhythm, you get in the right spot. See how I'm just moving a little bit? F. It's not that bad, guys. You can do this. I know it's a little bit of work, but maybe you want to do it a different way. That's completely fine too. Maybe you want to bool something out. Again, fine. You got to find your own style, and I always say that. So tell me in the comments if you guys think that this is the right style, if it looks good, or what you think I should have did, maybe. Tell me if you agree. Tell me if it's a good enough look for the game, you know? I have no idea what anybody's working on. You could definitely tell me about your projects if you like, but just don't give away anything that's going to hurt your game. Maybe your idea might get stolen. Just thought I'd warn about that too. Maybe you just want to talk about the computers. Maybe you want to tell me about what you did. I'd love to hear about what you guys are working on. I've subscribed to a few of you guys too. I don't know if you've noticed, but a few of you will now have me subscribed. I just went through some of my subscribers, and I looked and I seen on your pages who was doing what, and joined a few of you guys anyways. Just thought I'd mention that. Maybe we'll finish this up. I can't see the ones missing barely. I should have my glasses on, it looks like. Probably one of those points I should change the texture, huh? It's looking like I got most of them, if not all of them. Anyways. Alright, a little bit of color on that would help, I'd imagine, eh? Alright, let's move it back. I'll color it eventually, and if I need to, I'll fix it up. So put it in place, make sure it's not hitting anything, obviously. When you're in place, grab the piece behind it, and Control J, okay? Now, that is one piece. Alright? Pretty cool. Edit, undo, okay? Grab this piece. Let's move them together. Oh, can't move them together apparently. Okay, so we're going to have to do a little bit of work before we move them, it looks like. So I'm going to change back to this mode. It just helps me think a little bit. I don't know why, but... Right. You do what's good for you, right? Alright. Okay, guys. I hope this helps you with what you're working on, too. So I'm just going to do that. And we'll Shift D it. Find a good spot on the bottom side. Keep it on that axis, up and down. When it's not overlapping the sides or anything, you got it in a good spot. Gonna grab that one and oh no. Okay, let's just grab one actually. Shift D it. We'll use some of our maths to drag it across. And if you moved it and you still have it, just push right click to cancel it. Oh, right. Okay, we're not in this side. So let's undo. We're not in the right coordinates to do that, so I'm just gonna hit this one up here and Shift D it as well. Grab both of those and we'll just drag it over by hand, I guess. Okay, not a big deal. Try to get as best as you can in place. Take your time. Take longer than I did, alright? So when you're done, click off, click all four, and then we're gonna Shift D. And then we're gonna back that up, okay? And we haven't attached a piece to this yet, so we should be okay to bool. Grab your nut, your bolt, okay? And we're gonna go Shift, we're gonna click that, and we're gonna Object, bool, difference, okay? I don't know if we can see it there. We should have some holes. Did it do it? Alright, let's try that again. Something went wrong there. I think. Kind of looks like it's fine, but... Sorry guys, let's just make sure though. We want to make sure that it did what it was supposed to, right? I don't know if I was too close to it or what happened there. Definitely through. 2, 3, 4. Let's just back it up a little bit, maybe. Like that. And grab that and bool. If the same thing happens, we may have to do the second bool, but I'm not sure why it's acting like that. Okay, that time it worked. I must have done something wrong. Sorry about that, guys. Grab all four and run them in when they're in place. Boom. We're ready to do this. We're ready to mount this, okay? So we could probably grab that, grab this, Control J, okay? We could try moving the bolts with it. I don't know if it's going to work. No. So we're going to grab this, move it in, okay? When it's right, something like that, okay? Grab your bolts. And what would happen is usually they would just kind of wedge themselves in between those teeth, I believe. And you would have yourself mounted. May look a little bit funny, but I think it'll do for the job. If you want to do it slightly different and bool your holes into that, that's completely fine, of course. You should be fine. I don't think it's attached to anything, so you should be okay. So, we have done it. We have put our CPU on, we have put a mount on for the CPU, and then we've put our fan on top of that, okay? Good work. I'm just going to flip to the other view. Maybe we'll quickly color this just to help us a little bit. And we can leave the bolts there actually. So we'll go here, and we're going to go down to here. We can see the colors that we actually apply. And now this first one should apply the color to everything, so we're just going to go black with it. Just a little fan black color, okay? If you don't like it, you can definitely change it, but I think that's going to do the job for us. If you want to do the fan blades different, you can. Just go back and edit and go L over the fan. You could always do this and you can make the color the same or different just because you have the option of the extra color. You just got to assign a color to it in your engine. So for example, say you wanted to do that, give it a little more of a sporty type look. Done. Let's grab, let's get an edit, grab that one, go back into edit. Let's give this one a color. Maybe that'll help us. Just kind of see, you know, what we're looking at. And maybe we'll go a little gray with that. Doing a sign. Okay. Now it looks like steel. That kind of helps, right? Again, we could do... did we attach that piece in the middle? I think we're safe to. Maybe you want to leave the one in the middle not attached, but you probably want to at least attach all those ones. So Control J. Okay. And we will just go new. And we'll make that black, okay? And again, it's just probably going to help in edit mode to kind of with the color schemes, just to help us feel it out, what looks like what looks good, what doesn't look good. Now, the screws we've been using. We could do them too if you really want. So we just do new. And maybe do them a grayish too. Alright. And again, when you go to do other things, it's just going to help that much. When you're looking at it, you'll be like, yes, you know, those are gray. Oh, it only colored one. That's weird. Anyways, you get the idea. You can color them all individually, I guess, because they're all separated. Okay, so let's bump these back. And let's just move our disassembly out a little bit, okay? One piece at a time. Make sure all the right parts are attached. Okay. So there's our mounting bracket to hold things in. It would be here-ish. Those would all stay on the motherboard, right? This would go on an angle when you opened it, after you opened it with the switch. And I think we have our switch attached, yeah. So we can go and push new and color it as well. Might as well, right? Let's do a darker color again. And as you see, as I do these, the motherboard just starts to look a little better because everything's kind of getting its own color scheme, and you know what I mean? It just kind of helps us with what we're doing here. So we're going to go new, plus, I'm going to make it darker gray like that. Then tab, assign, tab, done. Okay. If you want to do the screws, that's fine. This here, we can color this. Okay, that's our CPU. So we would want to go into edit. Okay, and then we go new. And we make the first color maybe a green. And then we make it dark like that, because it'd be around the same color as the motherboard. We'd assign it. Go over this part, push L, and then we're going to go plus, new, make it silver, right? Okay. And again, should kind of help with our color schemes when we're looking at stuff. Now we can kind of see what things are, and should help whoever's playing your game or working on your project kind of judge what things should be looking like. Okay? Hopefully that works for you. Hopefully this assembly was really fun for you guys, and we got this far. Got things a little more colored. Next up, we will probably do the GPU. I think I told you guys I would do that, so I don't know how I got that out of whack. You get the idea. That's probably how exactly I got it out of whack. Try not to move it as much as you can. If yours isn't moved, good for you. I don't know what I did. I dragged it a little bit, apparently. Okay. You'll find the right spot. Anywho, it's just for example anyways, right? So, move this in. And we'll move this in. And again, you can color your bolts if you want to, but maybe from this point on, if you're going to reuse them, just make this one the one that you reuse, and it'll be colored automatically. Okay? So, what time is it? We'll go a little farther, I think. So, from what I can remember, we're going to have to make an oval. So let's go ahead and make that first, and we'll shrink it down, way down. Bump it all the way over, okay? Over some more, over. Okay. When you're in a good spot, we are going to move it to the top half, because I believe this would be placed. If I'm wrong, go ahead and correct me by just doing it better yourself, okay? I'm not trying to lead you the wrong way. I have a terrible memory. Don't always look this stuff up. I usually just freestyle it, so just keep that in mind and go ahead and make your own corrections, but I think this is correct. Okay? So I'm going to drag this right to the edge like that. And if you can guess, this is going to be a little box where all our cables and things and our speakers and things like that plug in, okay? So we're probably going to have to give it a certain type of look, so let's just move it there for now. And we'll start doing some different things to it to give it the shape that we want, basically, okay? And then we're going to have to also Shift D that maybe right now and take it down here. We'll change the shape. Go super skinny, maybe almost as skinny as your RAM, about the same size. So maybe a little bit bigger than this. Okay? And what this is going to be is where our GPU attaches. Now, we got to try to avoid our RAM, because GPUs are usually pretty long. Let's be back around here. And we usually need to lead up to the outside of the computer, so we'd have to make a hole in the back to plug into our GPU. Okay? Not so hard. We can do this. Not such a big deal. So you want to be pretty close, but not exactly there, okay? That would be my guess. You do what you do. Alright. So, for we don't forget what this is, let's just Shift D it. And we'll hit S. Okay. When you're happy, do this. Make it pretty skinny. Okay. Bring it out. Shift D. We're have to reuse that piece, so just drag it back there. Take this piece, bool it out of that piece, okay? Make sure it's deep enough for you. If you want to go deeper, now's the time. And bool. And unlike the RAM, there's only going to be an unlock on one end, and we already have our piece where we want it, so let's just do some adjustments and make an unlock over here, okay? It's the same idea as the other unlock on the RAM, where they get skinnier, maybe leans back a little bit. There's a little piece that you can basically lean back to unlock the RAM from it. Up to you if you want to include this. Maybe you don't give a crap about this part and you don't need it, right? It's up to you. You gotta decide. Something like that. This is a little short, obviously. So maybe something like this. Let's make sure it's not hanging out the other side. Move this up a little bit. When you're happy, I'm going to Shift D again. Okay. Move it up a little bit. It's way too big, obviously. So let's just shrink her down. Shrink her down. Make it skinny, but don't go the other way. Okay. When you're good. That should be good for the look I'm going for, okay? It's just a little tiny thing that pops down, basically, to kicks your RAM, or not your RAM, your GPU out. Help you get it in and out and lock it in and out of place. If you're just going for super realistic, you probably want it. And if you're not, then you don't really need it, okay? I'm going to make them all one, highlight them all, and just Control J. That's going to be that piece. If you want a dual one, you can put them side by side. May have to bump some things around to make it work. Okay. Still need a few more parts on here, so you're also going to have to be careful of that. We'll Shift A. Go ahead and make a cylinder. We're going to shrink that down. Right. Go here. I'm getting pretty burnt out, so I'm probably going to stop after this, guys. It's been a pretty long video. I don't know how long we're into this, but just getting a little burnt out now. So out of coffee for too many hours now. Alright, bump this over to the edge. Let's shrink this down. Right. Okay. Go up. Okay, now the look we're going to look for here, shrink it a little bit more, is this is actually going to stick out. Okay? And it's going to look like a little plug-in that we can plug into. Now, it's up to you how you want to do this, what size you want to make them, how you want to make them look. Just make sure your lip's sticking out when you're done like that pretty far. Alright? So when you're ready, Shift D. Okay. Before we do anything else, we have to S. And we're going to have to make this longer, because this is going to make a hole in the inside to make it look like a part goes over and a part goes inside. Alright? I know, it's pretty complicated now, isn't it? Not only that, we've got to do a few things every single time. We're going to have to bool through this for the hole actually goes through. So what I'm going to do is do this. After I duplicated it, bool, difference, okay? Now when I move this one out, there's a hole there. Or at least there should be. Oh, right. So one more thing. Let's just undo until I didn't move this. And then Shift D, copy it yet again, because we didn't put a hole through this yet. okay? We can copy this part, but we're not going to be able to copy the other part. So bool difference. Alright, you got it. So take this, move it here, okay? So we're going to need it. Click the other one, Shift D. Oops. Shift D. I pushed the wrong one there. Move it up. Shift D. Move it up. Shift D. Move it up. Okay, when you have enough connectors, or if that's enough of those type of connectors for that. Yeah, you know what? Let's erase 2 of these, and let's do different types of connectors after that, okay? Just for we have lots of different examples. So I think that one has a hole in it, so we're just going to kick that out, and we'll delete it. This one, we'll do that, and we'll bool it. Difference, okay? Yeah, that's right, actually. Okay, so those 2 have a hole straight through. You can take out the other side if you want. We're not going to do that now, but you're definitely more than welcome to do it if you'd like to. I'm quickly going to make a different type of connector just to show you a different way we can do this, of course. For you can choose your own ways and get the look you want for your computer. Maybe you're feeling like those connectors don't look right. Pretty sure that's a proper connector for speakers, things like that, but again, I'm no expert. I'm no expert. I'm just an artist with some passion. And apparently you are too if you're still watching these series. Alright, so let's just get it centered. That's what I'm looking to do, okay? Once it's centered, drag it out on one edge for we can at least see it, okay? See it? It's centered. Looking good. Alright, perfect. So maybe I'll just drag it out here now that we know it's centered. Okay. Go to edit mode, grab this bottom face, so we'll switch faces, and we're just gonna do a little bit of a shrinkaroo. And the reason is, it's just gonna give us a slightly different look to our plugin. Like maybe it's a... Oh shoot. You know what? Let's undo that. Because I was just thinking that we should do yet another kind of connection, so let's leave one. Sorry about that. Click this one, go on the bottom face, shrink that way a little bit, just like that. Okay, that'll do it. Actually go back, go to edges now, grab this edge, that edge, that edge, just shift and left clicking it. Control B. Okay, and just a little bit, okay? Out of that mode, and we're going to make an adjustment, and we're just going to go like this. And if you've ever seen a printer connector, it looks kind of like this. You can pick out where you want to put it, okay? And we could hollow it out if we want to, like we did with the other one. You could just leave it sticking out like this. You could put a bunch of pinholes in it, do what you need to, okay? I'm going to make it a little bit shorter, obviously. Something like that. Okay, just for it sticking out like that. That's what I want. That's the type. Again, just a different type of connector that we can do. You gotta do you, right? So this one, we're trying to try to make a USB connector. So Shift D it. This one's a little more complicated. So what I'm going to try to do is take a certain shape out of this. So when it takes the shape out of that, it gives us the shape we want. Yeah, I know it's a little complicated, but you got this, don't worry. So we're going to S to make sure it's smaller than the case, okay? And then we're going to go like this. We're going to shrink it down. Alright, and then we're going to go to one side or the other. You can do top or bottom, depends what you're after. Make sure you didn't go through your case. Okay, I think I'm pretty good here. So now I'll just bool difference, okay? So now I'm going to Shift D that, and then I'm going to run that in. And when I take it out of here, if I've done this right, and you might have spotted the mistake if I haven't, it should give me a USB shape. What? We did it, guys. Way to go. If you followed that, that actually worked really well. And if you're clever enough, you can find different ways to do connectors like that. If you want to do it a different way, if you want a bunch of USBs, Go for the look you want. I'm just giving you examples, right? Hope you're enjoying this. I really do, because I've worked really hard on this. If you're making this with me, so have you. Alright, so that's the look I want for now. We're going to stop here. We're going to head it up. I don't know how long we're in. It feels like an hour, and if it is, I really apologize for going this long. But I just want to show you as much as I can, and I want to give you a couple examples because I want you to find your look along the way. I don't want you to just copy me. You're more than welcome to, but I feel like if you do your own look, you're going to be happier with what you make. Okay? So keep that in mind when we're watching these things. Try not to get too frustrated with me, guys. Thank you so much for watching and joining today. It's been such a struggle. Maybe we'll just put these together real quick. Control J after you click on all of them. This one last. Grab this one. Go ahead and do the same thing. And everything is looking great for our game. So if you're making this for a game, you must be getting pretty excited because things are turning out really well, right? I hope so anyways. Let me know in the comments what you think. If you disagree, what could be better, what could be worse. If you're happy. Anyways, like, subscribe, and you can check out my game on Steam. It's called Fished in a Town to Remember. It's available on Steam. It's pretty cheap. It's pretty fun. It just seems to be getting a lot of attention lately. So if you're interested, you could pick it up and show me a little bit of support. And if not, that's totally fine. I just wanted to thank you guys for being here today again. And we'll catch you in the next episode.